Thank you for joining our session. This is an engaging student in a synchronous Zoom classroom. Like this workshop, we're gonna learn how to use a Zoom, best way to do engaging our student. So a couple things, the goal of the today's workshop is that I'm gonna share that couple things. It's good to know. You don't have to know, but good to know is the first things first. And then mostly I'll introduce you the tools that you can use it engaging student activity, and then also we'll have some kind of activity that you're actually using the tool to how it works. So we'll demonstration in the screenshot in this PowerPoint presentation, and then we'll do the actual activity afterward each tour. So the layout pieces that, as I said, just open up the participant panel and also the chat window. So those are two the important that as an instructor, you want to know who's in the room. I was reviewing who were in our meeting room. You can do the same way too. So open up the participant panel at the bottom of your menu that to monitoring who are joining your classroom, whether they have a microphone on or they have a video on, where they are able to hear you. So it's always a good practice to open up the participant panel and also the chat. Like we are doing right now, you're going to ask a student to use the chat if you have more than 20 students in your classroom. If you have a small classroom, then you don't have to really use the chat to communicating with your student. They can speak anytime. But if you have more than 20 students, it's hard to actually have it everybody talking in the same time. So you're more likely to use the chat to having a conversation. So open up this panel all the time. One more thing you need to do is if you look at the more option under the participant panel, there is a merge meeting to the window. And both, it's also the merge meeting window. So chat window will be merged into the meeting window. So it's a three dots under the chat, and also the more option under the participant panel. There will be the option. As I said, if you want to get out of from uh, the full screen view, just hit the escape, then the full screen view will be disappear, and then you'll be able to see other menu options or other program on your computer. And when you do that, what's nice about it is it's gonna not floating around on your screen. Participant panel and the chat panel will be part of your window. So you easily able to see and monitor what is going on when you have a videos. So when you share your screen, that's a little different story. As I mentioned, you're only able to see couple videos at a time when you're sharing your desktop. But if you're not sharing the desktop and you'll be able to see everybody's faces, then it's nice to have the participant panel and the chat panel right beside the video. In that way, you will be able to monitor what is going on in your classroom. Then this option you will have to do every single meeting. So it's not default setting that you have to change it. You will have to do, I mean, having it just kind of practice. So when you open up the Zoom meeting and do this first, just open up the participant panel and also the chat. And next one is audio and video. So there are options that you can change it to the phone in the call to the meeting, and make sure that you know your participant ID. And with the thunderstorm and hurricanes and your internet might not be really stable, in that case you want to actually call to the Zoom meeting room and then use the landline or cell phone to speak to your student. I had to do this one time, and remember your participant ID. If you don't enter participant ID, and your phone number will show up. So if you don't want to share your cell phone number or landline number with your student, and make sure that use the participant ID. But you can change it later in the participant panel, but just have a practices that you use the participant ID if you need to call into the meeting. I had to do that, and so maybe if it's a bad weather and internet is not stable, then you have to do it. And also, many faculty members said that students are not turning on the camera. Our faculty member and STEM members not doing it, then you I would like to see the student who are having a video. So you don't have to actually keep going through the video pane that who's enabled the video to see their facial expression or they're nodding or they're shaking. So in that case, if you hide, it has to be a student who don't open their video, that click the three dot for the more option and hide non, I hate my mouse, non-video participant, then this one, and when you set it up, this one is permanent. And every single time, it's Zoom will hide the student or the participant who doesn't have a video on. You will be only able to see the participant who had a video. I always set up that way so I can monitor whoever has a video, then I can see them. So it's up to you to change it or not. So that I thought that this was good thing to have it as an option. And also, when you're not sharing the desktop, then gallery view is an option that you can see everybody's face. So technically, you can see 49 the videos at one screen. I really don't like this mouse. Why is it so sensitive? So 49 add-on screen, but most of computers, it's like a background. Not every faculty member are able to change the background. So it's the computer capacity. So most of faculty member will be only able to see 25. But if your computer is supporting all these, then you'll be able to see 49 videos. I have tested it. Yes, you can see the 49 video at one screen. So when you're not sharing the screen, so if you want to see students' reactions, then you can stop sharing your PowerPoint or whatever you're sharing it, and then get back to everybody on the video and chat and see students' video. And sometimes you will not know who's speaking, and if that is the case, then ask the students say their name and then speak or ask question to you. And so gallery view is always a key, so you can see everybody. Speaker view is the speaker pop up and the big window and everybody else in the smaller view. And one other things, faculty member, we're getting tired of looking at us. So, so students are turning off their video, but we can. So we want students to see us. So they have a nice feature that actually you can hide yourself. So in that case, you don't have to, so I don't have to see my video while I'm lecturing it, but students still able to see you. So that's the one other options you can do. This one, hide non-video participant, that's, you have to use a participant three dot. And this option, you have to use your three dot on top of the video to hide yourself. So these are the couple things that I thought that like it's good to know, and then that before we getting into the learning how to use an engaging tool. And also you can share the movie or the music. And I don't think we have a Westminster faculty member here. You can play the music from your computer, but you have to be make sure that check the share computer sound. So this one is like, I didn't have a time to change it. So when you click share screen, that's number one. You have to select the audio file or the video file or the YouTube video. So whenever you want to share with your student, that file or the document or PowerPoint need to be opened up before you clicking share screen. So I already opened my movie file on my computer, and I click the share screen, I click the select my movie, and then make sure they share computer sound. In that way, not just the microphone sound is transmitting to the student, but computer music play is also going through the Zoom meeting. So that's one other option. So you can share the YouTube video or any other, or some faculty member actually open up their Netflix account and show the clips of the videos, movies from the Netflix. That it's educational use, so that's okay. You're not violating any of the copyright issues. And then one other things I thought that really helpful to know when you're sharing the desktop. So instead of going like what I'm doing, going back and forth with the PowerPoint, you can pause your share screen. So in the option right now you don't see because you're not sharing it, but when you're sharing it you will see the pause share option. So meaning that when you're showing student with a PowerPoint like this. I'm actually showing you guys a PowerPoint that I wanted to, student asked me that, can you clarify on a couple of the slide before? Then instead of going back to the pages of the PowerPoint, what you could do, I can just pause my share and I'm going to go back to the other pages. This is what I did. So you didn't see me moving my PowerPoint, but I moved my PowerPoint. So you can pause your sharing your screen and do whatever you need to do in same document you're sharing it, and then resume your share. So I'm going to pause it again, and then going back to the pages that where we were before to find. So I'm moving around, but you guys don't see that I'm moving around my PowerPoint file. So that's very nice tool that actually you can utilize it. And also instead of stop sharing it, you can just click new share. So not in and out of the big screen of them. So those two tools that it's nicer view. You don't have to use it. It's just a clear view for our student. So I'm sharing that option. And also when you're presenting the PowerPoint, or when you're sharing your desktop, it usually goes with the full screen. Then menu option is going to hiding what you want to share. In that case, just you go into the more option in your menu bar and you can hide the floating meeting control. So you don't see the meeting control, it will be there. It's just putting into the background. And then if you need those menu come back, then you just hit the ESC button on your keyboard. Then meeting toolbar will pop up. So many times that we see the control bars there, so like what's in my screen I can't really see, then you can hide the meeting control and then putting it back. Okay. Now we're going into the engaging with the student. So when you designing the activities, we're planning for the classroom, even in-person classroom, we really actually planning the classroom, the activities, what we're going to do and how many minutes that we're going to do the lectures, or what kind of question item or discussion prompt we're going to do. That's exactly same in the Zoom classroom. So, but there are a couple tools that you can use to keep student engaging. Not just, I'm not meaning that student actively discussing something or asking questions, but little tools that you can keep engaging students. So in that way, students are not just join because they're not going to be turned the video on. You don't know that they're disappeared or not. They're just being there, join, and then doing something else. So there are, first option is using the non-verbal feedback, and Zoom has a 3 different nonverbal feedback. So student doesn't have to type it. They can just use the emoji or icon to explaining to you what they think about it. Or you can ask a question. It's always a good thing that you ask a question and student answers it. So first one is the reaction will have a clap and thumbs up. So that's available under the Zoom control bar menu underneath the Zoom icon. That's only available for when we're doing the video. But you can do it too. So it's only shows up in the video. Okay. This one reaction will only shows up in the video. So sometimes I saw the faculty members who uses it, but more the better tool for the non-verbal feedback is participant panel. That's why I would like you to guys open up the participant panel. So participant panel has a raise hand. In addition to who's in the meeting, there is a raise a hand and also yes, no, thumbs down, thumbs up, and clapping. So those options are available. So those tools are available so you can raise a question to your student and then using the participant panel to yes and no, ask a student to answer, respond to your question. So they don't have to all say, open up the microphone and say yes. They can use this participant panel, yes or no, responding to your question. So if students do it, then it's nice that actually you will be able to get the aggregate number in your view. So give them a question and then student will answer yes or no. You can quick check their all understanding of their knowledges or quick check-in. Then you have the in your view, you will have the number of aggregate number that how many students said yes, how many students said no. And and raise your hand is also the tool that you can, instead of yes, no, you can ask a student that if you agree, raise your hand. If you don't agree, just leave it. And then you can check those information too. And raise your hand is only available for students. So now you see raise your hand, your participant panel, but when you're hosting a meeting, you don't see the raise hand. It's that just bugged me so much. It's just only available for the participant. So student will have, this is my view. So student will have a raise a hand under the participant panel, but you don't have it. But you will be able to see who's raising hand. And then after you address the student question, you can lower the hand. So it's a simple tool, but you can just giving them a question and student can use with even thumbs up and thumbs down. I used to do ask a student then give me thumbs up and thumbs down, and same thing. So they can use the icon to give us their reactions. It's non-verbal, easy to do, and everybody just need to open up the participant panel and giving you the answer. And so let's do some non-verbal feedback activity. So open up. So if you don't see the, if you don't, because if so escape from the full screen view. So now you'll be able to see my PowerPoint one side and then participant pane the other side, side by side with the participant pane, and then also the chat panel. So in that participant panel, so think about the spring semester after you moved into the remote instruction. If you ever use a Zoom classroom, live classroom, so if you think that your student, if you notice that some of your frequently participating students started less when you moved online. So active participation in the classroom, asking question, answer question, actively participating, whether those students are less participating in your online classroom. If you experience that, and give me the yes. And if that is not the cases, give me the no. And if you didn't use the synchronous Zoom class, give me the thumb. So please open up and give those number. I only have 11, so I still need a couple more. Okay, cool. So this is a quick checking. So I'm checking your understanding how to use this nonverbal feedback. So I can able to check, and then so I have, okay, I have a 15 faculty members responses. Thank you very much. So a couple of you guys actually didn't use it. That's okay too. So those are the trend that you're noticing it, that whether it's different. Zoom classroom, you guys been experiencing too. So you've been attending so many meeting and our workshop and drop-in session and offering the classes, that it's a different dynamics than the in-person classroom. Some student will do better in the Zoom classroom and some student don't do better in the Zoom classroom. So we'll have to think about all those kind of dynamics. So thank you. Then I'm going to be able to clear all the responses until next one. And then another one, I could ask you that, just give me the raise a hand, and now I mute everybody so you can talk. But if you prefer that, I can let you guys actually unmute yourself and you can just jumping into asking question anytime. Give me the raise a hand if you prefer that. Cool. So I have a couple of raise a hand. So like that, so you can ask, so in the video you can see, and participant panel you can see raise a hand. So in the video you'll be able to see too when student raise a hand. So in that way, it's a quick check-in. So depending on, it's always the discussion prompt or assignment itself important. So you can always ask the student meaningful question that, what do you think? And not just what do you think? So asking meaningful question using this non-verbal feedback. It's a simple tool, giving you the idea and then giving you how many students have a question. So you can use this way. I hope that that was helpful. And the chat. So in the chat, now we're using as a question and answer. So you're typing the question. By default, chat is available publicly and privately, which means you guys can privately chat each other without telling me. So Quelly and John probably talking to each other without it letting me know. It's like why Hyung said those kind of things. So that's possible. It's the same things could happen in the classroom. Student will be able to privately chat each other. There isn't any options that we can control that privately chatting with the professor or the instructor. So if you open up privately, then it or the participant could do the private chat. So if you're okay, I usually just let it open. The reason is that those shy students who are not going to ask question in the classroom, they really like to use a private chat. They can ask me a question in the private chat, then I'm addressing it as a group. I don't have to reveal their name, but it's a valid question, then I address their question during the class time. So many students, and as you know, I teach a statistics class, so many students who don't want to ask question in front of everybody, but they do have a question, but they love using the private chat. So in order for me to let them privately sending me a text chat, I need to let open for the publicly and privately. That giving you the risk that they can back channel talking each other. So letting you know. And also other ways you can engaging with your student, you ask a student to do something. Okay, I was going to have this activity, but we're not going to enough time, so I just deleted it. So you're asking, you explain some concept or the ideas or theory, then student have to do something, then or ask a student go out to the website to find some information to share the idea, then they can create the file and share in the chat. That's also the checking that students are really engaging, participating activities, what is going on in the classroom. So you can just dump in the file into the chatting area. So I usually do it, ask a student to take a screenshot. So you have to do something, especially I ask a student, compute something in your Excel and take a screenshot and then dumping into the chat, either publicly, privately. Then in that way, I have an answer from them. So they are not passively listening what I'm saying, but students have to do something and then they have to show me the evidences. So I don't necessarily have to check those. I'll check it later, but it's a kind of engagements. Like I'm telling students that like I'm keep checking you. You cannot disappearing from this Zoom meeting. So that's the purpose, and then students keep engaging to do something during the class time. So you can utilize the chat, the file in the chat area. And annotation only available in the when you're sharing screen. So annotation is only available when you're sharing the screen. Good part is that you can use the text annotation. So because when you know that when you're using the mouse to trying to draw something, it is really hard. But there is a text options available, so you can type it into the whiteboard or the screen anywhere where there is a stem. I really like this one. It's the same as a yes and no or the raise a hand, but stamping is really fun way to engaging with students. And then you can use a spotlight. I didn't use it because sometimes when I use a spotlight, they will have a red dot following my mouse icon. But there are those tools available. So it's only available when you're sharing the screen. So this is a student view, which is a your view. The bottom of the screenshot is your view. On the top of your screen, you will see that you're being viewing my screen, Hyun Kim's screen, and right next to that, there will be the view option. Okay, when you click the view option, then there will be the annotate. So you can open up that. So that's how you open up. This is a student. In this workshop, I'm trying to show you your view as well as a student view. So in that way, you're understanding what student will able to see. Most of the view you'll be able to see right now because you're the participant, but we're trying to show you guys the both view. So you can open up annotate under the more view. So let's do this. I would like to know what you guys decide. So go to the view option, open annotate, and find the stamp. There are 6 different stamps available. So stamp it, give us a star, if you more likely do, and give me the red X in here to the less likely for you gonna do. So start for the what you're planning to do, and red X for you never gonna do. Cool. I'm counting it. So please, you can do more, but I'm waiting for 15 responses. So only have a, so as you can see, this is the polling. So it's same as a yes and no, but students have to actively think about it and give me the answer. So you can create the questions, and you can even create agree, disagree, or then ask a student to stamp it. Okay. Cool. So mostly in between fully synchronously remote, blended, no online, no in person. Cool. Okay. So now I didn't really like ask individual faculty member, but I was able to gauge what you guys are thinking, what you guys are planning. What does okay. So it's not that hard, right? So this is fun activities that if you have a graphic where the images, then you want a student pointing out some different location or how do you do. And so annotation is not that bad. So you can create these things where you can give students like this, blank pages, okay? So ask them to type it. So the different ways of you can do it. Oops. Where did that go? Okay. So I'm gonna clear up whatever answers we have, mostly in the center. Thank you for sharing your modality for teaching. And yeah, in person is important, but it's hard to decide to do it in person in this situation. Well, I just hope that you get the idea how you can use such a simple annotation feature to do the polling that checking student understanding. Okay, let me clear. Okay, so I cleared the annotation. All right. And Zoom also has a polling. It's a built-in full polling feature, so you can set it up as anonymously. Stop giving me the star. We're done with that activity. So you can create it with anonymously or not. That's how you can set it up. So there are two ways you can set up Zoom built-in polling feature. That looks nice. You have to decide which way is easier for you to manage it. So setting up the poll is you have to go to the writer.zoom.us, and then you need to create a meeting first. Meeting need to be there. You need to schedule the meeting first. Then edit it, and then the bottom of the pages, then you will see the adding the poll. I'll show you the screenshot. And another way, if you're going to use lots of polling during the class time, then in Canvas, this is only available in Canvas. If you go to the Canvas and then the edit pages, then they will have the CSV files, so you can upload the multiple question at a time. So they have a template and you can use it, and you can have a maximum of 25 polling per meeting, per meeting. So each class you can have a 25 poll. And you can share with result with your student, or if you decide not to share, then that's okay too. So there is options you can do. So also there is an option so you can downloading a report what you have done. So from the web pages, how you can add a poll. So again, you need to schedule a meeting. So once you do the edit, bottom of the pages, so like this, don't have any poll yet. So you're gonna use add. So when you click add button, then this window will pop up. So you can give them a question, answer choices. Okay. Multiple choice meaning that multiple select, and single choice is the multiple choice question type. As you can see the bottom of the screen that add a question. So you can have a multiple question in a poll, so within the 25. But what I noticed that is a student having a hard time to viewing two questions in a poll. So if you want to use it, I recommend you to just having one question at a time. So that's a recommendation. I show you the screen that I did it like 3 questions in a poll, and student were not, it's not easy to see, and they said that they can't find the second question or the third question. So trying to add a one question per poll. Okay, so in the canvas, so when you create a canvas and then if you edit it, and again, bottom of the pages will have a CSV template. So you download this file and then import back to it. So follow the direction in that Excel file, add a question, add a choices, and then import the CSV file to the Zoom meeting. Then poll will be there for you to use it. So two different options. Again, you can really add a poll on the fly. So you have to add a questions before you start the classroom. So that's the one thing it's not that good. So but you have to, you could do it, but it's more cumbersome to adding a poll question during the class time. So if you need to ask a student opinion, just it's better to use the yes or no or other types of the nonverbal feedback instead of using the polling. So that's the how to create it. So when you ready to launch a poll, so I'll show you one poll. Okay. So so now you're having a poll. It's presented to you. So please give me the answer. Select the answer and then submit. So I'm seeing I have 5 submissions, 6, 7. Cool. I usually ask that, are you wearing PJ? But this is not the morning. So Ali had a question. Sure, go ahead. You have to unmute. You have to unmute.
Sorry. Um, I know how to create the poll, but how you actually deployed the poll? Just
Okay, that's the next. So now you experience how to responding it. So now we're gonna learn. You're gonna see how to actually do this. So this is a, so left side is a your view and right side is a student view. So you need to click the polling. So polling icon from your menu bar, then poll will show up. So this one I already created. So you have to launch the poll. So in that way it will deliver to your student. Once you do that, and you will see, even sometimes it's a really question you're asking to your student. I do that too. I give them a question and student really need to solve the problem. And if you said, I'm going to give you 1 minute, then there's a timer. So you can check like 30 seconds, 1 minute, and then you will see the progress, how many students are responded. So it's very nice. So you can see the progress. Student view is the student are getting the poll, and then they have to select the answer and then submit it. So that's what their view. So once you get everybody's responded, then you need to end the poll. So you can just leave it hanging there. So you have to end it. So bottom of the page is, so again, I have all the responses from student, and then you can end the poll. And after you end it, and this is an example that if you have a more than one question looks like this, and students said they can't really find this. I'm just showing you guys that when you have a more than one question. So, so after you end it, this is a view you're gonna have. Either you can share it or you can reuse it. So there is an option that you don't have to use it. If you want to share the result with your student, you can select to share the result. If you're not, then you can just get rid of the poll window or you can reuse it. So I'm going to give you guys idea later. So that's what you do. And if you share it, this is what student will see. So if you not share the poll, student will not be able to see who answered what. So if you're checking their understanding, quick fact check or definition question you're asking student, you may really want to share those results so student know that they have a misconception. Or if you're not planning to share, at least you have to address this that everybody got the correct answer or most of you guys didn't get the correct answer, so we're going to revisit it. Exactly same thing what you do in the classroom. So if you relaunch the same poll, then all the submission information will be disappear, will be deleted. Okay. And then you can stop sharing it. So it's going to be removing from the student view. So student doesn't really have a control. So you have a control of the poll. So once you stop sharing it, and will be removed from the student view. So this time, okay. So I just share with you the how to create what's the view. So please answer any of those A, B, C, D. So question is in the slide, and please select your answer, how confident you are. Are you going to be okay, or do you need more help? But maybe you don't want to use the poll, you can just use the verbal feedback. Okay. So like this, you can even had a like this same question. So answer the question on the PowerPoint, A, B, C, D, or true, false, agree, disagree. So once you have that, you can, so let me end the poll. I'm gonna share this time. So you see the result. So nice distribution. Okay. So in this kind of generic question poll, you will be able to reuse it. So you probably already have many questions in your PowerPoint. Instead of creating everything in the poll like this, you're just sharing the question in the PowerPoint slide, then using the generic question in the poll, relaunching it. So in that way, it's a saving your time, but still you have to think about it. Well, like this, or other question type is like this. You can have true, false. So it's a generic. I don't have any other specific topic there. You can continue to use anytime you want to pull. So I recommend you to have this type of ABCD or 1, 2, 3, 4, true, false, agree, disagree. And in that way, you can always reuse it. So delete the answers and reuse it. So in that way, saving more time to, I don't want you to guys spend so much time creating poll itself. So you can just type it everything into the PowerPoint and using poll that way. I hope that this makes sense for you guys. Okay. And also the polls everywhere is the it's everybody's using it. I used it in the workshop a couple of times and it's a free. One nice thing about poll everywhere is you can have open-ended question. Also, you have to be careful whether student sending you the nasty comment because it's anonymous. But you can have an open-ended question in the poll. It's a free for 25 audiences. So if you have a 30 student, you're not able to use for free. But you can have unlimited poll if you have a 25 student in your classroom. I just like it to have open-ended question, but just warning you that sometimes they're not going to send you nice comment if you plan to share their responses lively. So just I had activity built in, but we're not going to have enough time. So I'm just introducing your idea that this is another way to using the polling, meaning that actively asking students engaging throughout the courses in the Zoom classroom, even in the face-based classroom too. Many faculty members use this kind of tool in in-person classroom. So other option, breakout room. So breakout room is the future that small group room, so like 20 faculty members here. And so we wanted to be make sure that having a meaningful conversation so student can have a breakout room. So you can have up to 50 breakout room and you can, as a host, as a faculty member, you can go in and out of the breakout room. So breakout room is a small group setting. Only one difference is you giving student the small group activity in-person classroom is that you're not going to be able to hear that all the students are saying. So when we're in the classroom, one group is sitting in this side, one group is sitting that side, even if they're in the small group, you'll be able to hear that what they're saying. If they're struggling, you can jumping on to go there to helping them, right? But in the breakout room, you're not going to be physically there with the students, so you can't hear if they're struggling. So that's the only downside of it. You need to be physically moving around the different breakout room to hear what they're discussing, or what they have to say, or if they have a question. But there is a feature so you can let students know that they can ask for your help during the breakout room session. And it's very nice. So it's very nice. So you can plan to do breakout rooms. I'm going to show you guys how to set up and what kind of the view will be there. So you can, if you, some faculty member ask that whether they can record the breakout room session. They could, but you have to make one of the student co-hosts or to give them to recording option, and they can only record on computer. So they cannot record it to the cloud. So if you ask the student to record it during the breakout room session, you need to get the file from the student. So it's not just a link. You're not going to have access to those recordings. So you have to think about it. Do I really want to see the breakout rooms recordings, to checking what they're doing. So but you can ask them to record it. Options available, but it's on the computer, local computer, not the cloud. So you personally ask your student to share the video with you if you want to ask them to record it. Okay. So breakout room icon is the from the menu bar for down of your Zoom screen, the four squares, the breakout room menu. You could automatically randomly assign to the different room how many member, how many room, and you have to click create breakout room. Quelly and John has been using manually our drop-in session, so we don't want to send everybody into the breakout room. So if you do the automatic breakout room, then every participant assigned to the each room. But if you do manually, you can just pick up Kelly and John, and you're gonna go to the other room, talk about it. So I don't know in the classroom setting that's really the case, but that's what we're using it. But in the classroom setting, you can just randomly ask Zoom to assign automatically to the breakout room, different breakout room, and then make sure that click create breakout room. So you set it up and click create breakout room. Then once you do that, and this screen will pop up. So depending on how many rooms you want them to create it, depending on how many students you want it to be in each breakout room, you can even change the name of the room, not just a breakout room 1, 2, 3. If a student doing the case discussion, and you can give them case 1, case 2, case 3, so you can change the name. And you can, even if you ask randomly assign to the group to different breakout room, you can move around the student to the different group. So you can do that. And also you can delete the room or you can assign it. So there are options in there, but don't forget to make sure they open the room. So this is still your setting. After create it, you have to open the room. So student cannot open it. You have to open the room. And if you look at the options, so there are a couple options that we don't really use this option, but if you want to give them by default, when you trying to close breakout room, by default, Zoom will give student 1 minute. So if you want to change it to the 2 minute, you can change it here under the option. So by default, it's a 1 minute. Everybody will have a 1 minute. Or you can set it up as, okay, I'm going to give you guys a 5 minute. Then you can set it up as a breakout room opportunity that have a 5 minutes. So that those are the options for the overall breakout room. So open all room, once you open it, and student will get the prompt that join. So you're going to be assigned to this room and you need to join. So students still have to click join. It's not automatically sending them to the different breakout room. So some of them like don't know how to click it, join it. So some of them just ignore the pop-up or just sitting in there. So you have to tell them you need to click join. So once they click join and like this window pop up, so you're moving into the different room. That's what student will be able to see. The meantime, I lost one. Okay. Meantime, you will be able to see who have not joined. So it's very nice to give you the progress. So demo student already in the case one group room, but these students have not joined it. So you can see it's not, they can hide it. So they said, oh yeah, I participated in the activity. They cannot say. You can monitor that who have not joined the room. So that's what you can see. And, and then during the breakout session, this is the breakout rooms menu option. So in the breakout room, there will be the icon for ask for help. So they have options. So they don't have to in and out from their breakout room to looking for the help from you. They can just click help for the ask for the help and click invite the host, then will notify you. So you're gonna get this kind of message. You're in the main room or you're with the group two, then you will get this kind of message. You can join the room or you can deny it. So if you're helping other group member, then you can say later. Then once you say the later, then Zoom will tell students that like host is helping somebody else. So please ask them later. So it's very nice. So you just need to tell students that use those options and I'll respond to you. So when we're doing the breakout room activity, please try to use this option. So I'll pop in and out. Okay. So So these options are available. So anytime you can join to different groups. So when you see the groups, then you can join, yes, and then joining into the breakout room. And then when you're done, the same as meeting the room, you can leave the breakout room and then come back to the main room. Okay. And then once you think everything is done, then you come back to the leave and you you can broadcast it during the session. Sometimes the student have to working on something and give them working on question two, or give the group summary on Google Docs, so you can give them a broadcasting message. You don't have to go each room to send the messages. You can broadcast the messages, and then if you're ready, then you can close your room. So then depending on your setting, if you haven't changed it, 60 seconds later, 1 minute later, room will be just automatically close it. Okay. Okay. And that will get the messages that your room will be closed out. So those are the messages the student will be getting it. So breakout room will be closed and breakout room will be closed. I need to check my mouse. I'm sorry that this is so disturbing. So that's what, how to create it, how to manage the breakout room, go in and out different breakout room. But this is just mechanical pieces of how to create it, but still you have to create the activities that what student is going to do in the breakout room. So you have to think about how engaging work they have to do. So any question for the breakout room? I have to lower the hand and make sure they get the new lower hand. Okay, clear. Unmute yourself if you have any question regarding the breakout room and ask me a question. Are we good? Okay, then we're going to do the activity. Okay, so and I'm gonna share the Google Doc. So I'm gonna break you guys into the different room. Then in Google Doc, there will be your name will be there. I have to working on these things. And as a group, so you will see the Google Doc, and then you will be able to just please discuss the how to be more inclusive in your remote or online classroom with the group member. Just a brainstorming, and just to have, instead of like share everything what you want to share, we wanted to make sure that have everybody have some kind of idea. So after I stop sharing the screen and check the chatting area for the Google Doc link, and you need to be open up your email. So make sure that it's going to be open up for the writer email addresses. And then start adding it with your group. So give me a few seconds, so I will give that information to you. So here you go. And I'm going to create the breakout room. Okay. Not going to change the name. So I already have a name, but just work with your group's name so you can see the how hard to do it or not. So I'm going to open up. So please join the room and trying to participate the activity. Okay. Maybe I'll group one. Ugh, I'm so hot. Nobody's adding.
They, I'm on mute this whole time. They have edit access, right? It's not like they're having an issue.
I don't think so.
Hmm.
Maybe. Trying to go do it. One of you trying to go do it. They didn't tell me anything, but let me go. Are you able to edit?
I've been saying yes this whole time. Give him a second though to start up. Oh, Jesus. Oh, you're muted.
I was able to edit.
Oh, Quayle.
I have not been looking at any faces this whole time because I can't. Can I just say they don't want interact? Yeah, I was able to edit.
I'm looking at some of these emails and they're people are crazy. I don't know when we're gonna have time to get back to some.
When they come back. Welcome back. Did everybody come back? Okay. Super. Okay. So I'm changing to the Google Dot. I changed it to the view so we can change it. Okay. Setting expectations. So like this, I didn't join all the breakout room. I was able to join 2 different room, but I'm able to see participations, the students' activities during the breakout room session. So this is just one example that you could utilize with the Google Doc, and I will share with the one breakout room member, faculty member, that you can ask them to submit it into the Canvas discussion forum, or you could ask them to come back as a group and then do the bubble discussion. So you don't have to have this, but I always wanted to have some kind of evidence from the student. That's why I'm asking faculty member to do the Google Doc. And like this, if you want student to participate in the Google Doc as a collaborative writing or collaborative project, you need to be able to tell student that you need to create the document first. So again, it's a lot of planning. The same thing as planning for your classroom, but just lots of planning. So that's what you need to do. Let's go back to my PowerPoint. Okay. So again, I use the new share instead of stop sharing it and not doing it. Another one is the waiting room features that if you, I mean, I think we need to support the student a lot. And when we're trying to support student that having an office hour, I think they're not now afraid of meeting with our faculty member. So in order to use having the office hour, instead of creating one meeting per student, you can create one standing meeting in Zoom for call it office hour than using the waiting room. So no one is going to getting into the meeting space until you allow them to be in. So you can control the meeting time. So students say that I would like to meet you in 1:30. Then you can bring Hee-young into the room and then let Hee-young go. And then John will be in the waiting room. You can let John in at 2 o'clock. So just using the waiting room will be save your time to having a office hour. Just creating one meeting, like what we're doing in our workshop and our drop-in session. We create one meeting for the drop-in session. We can use any time. Then you can have a waiting room enabled. Most of our drop-in session we didn't, but this workshop we enabled the waiting room. Again, even in the classroom too, you can set up you can enable the waiting room, then make sure that everything ready. PowerPoint is on, Canvas is ready, Google Doc is ready, YouTube video is ready. So check everything until like or you're setting on your computer, then you can let student in. And also check student name that you make sure that there is no unexpected visitors when you're using the waiting room. I was able to detect the Zoom bomber using a waiting room. So because I realized that name of a participant was not one of my students or not names that I don't think it's a student name, so I wouldn't let them in. So I didn't have a Zoom bombing. So that's another way to using waiting room, but especially for the office hour, that's really helpful to use the waiting room. So waiting room, you can change it during the meeting time, or you can set up when you're creating the meeting. And one other options. So I'm gonna change it back to. Give me a second. Change it to other slide. Okay. So we recently learned about the Google Jamboard. So it's a whiteboard. Zoom has a whiteboard built in. So you can use the whiteboard built in the Zoom, or you can have a blank slide from your PowerPoint using as a whiteboard so student can type in and you can ask them to do something, or you can use the Google Jamboard. We got the request from the chair of the chemistry department, and then we just enabled in our Google suite. So you all have access to it. So this is a Google collaborative whiteboard. So not like the the Zoom whiteboard, you can add images, you can have a sticky note, you can draw. It's a whiteboard, so you can draw, type, add everything. But the nice feature is you could add images and you can have a sticky note and then you can carry out, save it, and then reuse it again. So I just want you to show you to guys what it is. So no, we're gonna come back to this one, but so there's a sticky note information. So many, I mean, we have only one education faculty member here today. Education faculty member or any other faculty member like to use a sticky note with a different color. So asking student that red is liking it, while blue is not liking it, while idea, while frustration. So you can color coding the ideas that whatever you ask. This is just example. So you can have one takeaway is a yellow sticky note, and more topic you want to know, green sticky note, or anything you want to do, the blue sticky notes. So we'll come back to show you those kind of options. So what Jamboard looks like is something like this. So it's in our Google. So there is an option. This is a pen. You can change the color, erase it, and there is a select option and sticky note. So you're gonna use this sticky note. So select different color and save it. Okay, so that's how you're going to use it. Or you can, again, this is the images, so you can add the images in there. So I change the background so I'll be able to see everybody's what you're writing is. So color coded different ways, or if you want it, you can just type it, writing the information over here. Okay, so but I like the idea of using the sticky note in the Jamboard. So we'll share this one in the chat. Okay. like that. So you can trying to come back here. I'm sharing it so I'll be able to see. So please click the link and then trying to put a sticky note. So again, I'll be able to see what other members are doing, what students are doing. So sticky note is this one. So click this one and select a color and then type it, where you can move around. So I haven't had actual the session with anyone. So this is the first time we are demonstrating how to use this JamBoard. Cool. Cool. See, everybody could see. I could see you guys in the Google Jamboard, but I'm able to see everybody's. Yes, this is the first virtual sticky note. This is so cool. So again, you can ask them to directly type in and draw things. We're adding images to build upon the ideas, where you can ask them to create a concept map at here, then you can save it later. But as you can see, you can go into the next pages, so you can add the different pages. So I think this is I think even might better than the Google Doc to can see what students are doing. And because sticky note is a very cool tool to engaging with our students. So can we import the document into this? I don't think we'll be able to import it. What do you mean to import it? You can take a screenshot and then post it at here, Matthew, if you have something. This is what I did. I took a screenshot and then just posted it into here. You can add the images. You can change it later. So anyway, so I just wanted to show you guys other ideas that the actively engaging student in the same time, you'll be able to see what we're doing. Cool? Cool. Okay. So I'll be able to monitor this one later, continue to have student action. I don't think so. I'm looking at the Lisa's comment. Either you can leave as a viewer, so like same as Google Docs, so student just able to see it, or you can let them edit everything. Or you can choose a group leader, so give them an actions to edit it, but not everybody else. So that's more controlling with the sharing option. So I think it's somebody changed the background. Cool. That's okay. So we want to see all those options. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. So I'm going to have a closing comment. So yeah. So the we discussed with the inclusion. I didn't really closely take a look at it, and I'll take a look at it. So we have and as I mentioned that you may need to change it to the phone to say to the joining to the meeting. So internet speed might not be high enough or not reliable. Some students may really not having a good high speed internet service at home. So make sure that understanding those students, their environment, home environment and work environment, and also the Chromebook. I know that the faculty members, not many faculty member has a Chromebook, but all those nice collaborative, engaging tool, which is polling, whiteboard, annotation, those things not available in the Chromebook. So you may want to ask a student that who has a Chromebook. I have not seen many students has a Chromebook at Writer, but who knows? These days, everybody might using the same computer together, so they might use a Chromebook because of the cost effectiveness. So those options not going to be available. So students who use a Chromebook, they're not going to be able to answer polling question. And Again, as I said, tell students to use the private chat if they don't want to speak in front of the classrooms, the same way as using the public chat. And also, if you have a hearing impaired student, then the professional captioner will join and then they're gonna live captioning to the student. Okay, so that will happen. I had that thing. So they need to know your meeting information. So they'll be joining and then doing the live captioning for the student who had a hearing impaired issues. And visually impaired student, more clearly explaining even images that you have to really clearly explaining what you're showing to your student. So that's helping all the students. So it's a couple comment that I wanted to make it into the inclusion and access. And I personally had issues with the high speed internet. I don't have really high speed internet access. So sometimes students tell me that like my voice is lagging or disconnecting, so I have to use the phone. And in that case, then not having a video streaming, your video streaming, then just having audio streaming might help. So having a clear voices going through without the video, that's one other option to do. So I'm gonna, should we stop recording it? So we still have, yeah, we still have 10 minutes. So we can have a Q&A if we haven't answered anything.